How you doing, guys? To kickstart 2021, what I'm going to be doing is a little mini series titled Let's Make the WR Great Again. So what I've got here is a 1999 WR400F, and to start the series I'll be replacing the broken analog speedo with a digital Trail Tech speedo. So let's get to it. First thing to do is to remove the headlight to access the old speedo. Just got to pop out these tabs which hold the headlight in. Disconnect the headlight. So this is the digital Trail Tech speedo, and what I had to purchase was a separate lighting kit, just so when I use my indicators and high beam it'll illuminate on a panel, which you have to purchase separately. So once you buy that lighting kit, it comes with this little bracket here, and you have to mount the Trail Tech speedo onto that bracket, and then there's a plastic trim which goes over the speedo, and then all your little lights for your indicators and high beam. To mount this bracket, what I have to do is bend this stock bracket just here up on a 90-degree angle. Then I'm going to drill 2 holes into it and then bolt it on just like that. Alright, so that's nice and tight. Now what I'm going to do is the wiring. So this is the indicator lighting panel, which you can purchase separately to suit the Trail Tech Vapor Speedo, and you can put all different types of indicators in there. So the ones which I'll be using for my WR400 is a high beam, a left indicator and a right indicator light, and a blank out, because the WR400 only has indicator lights, high beam and a backlight. So what you need to do is just pop these in, and these little rubber grommets here just hold those indicator windows in place. So another thing I didn't mention is that you can install LED indicator lights, but because my system is an AC system, I'm going to have to run globes instead of LEDs. So after looking at the stock speedo, I've realised that there's only one globe which illuminates for the left and the right indicator, so it's no good having both the left and the right one. So I'm just going to remove these and replace them with this. So I'm going to have the indicator globe just down here, and then 2 blank outs at the top. So the only globes which I need to wire up to this wiring loom is the indicator light here and also the high beam light here. As per the wiring diagram that comes with the kit, it states that the orange is a positive, green is negative, the blue is positive and black is negative. So I've cut this off the wiring loom which comes with the speedo because I don't need all the other wires, and I'm going to wire it directly onto the factory wiring and then plug it in. Alrighty, so this is the high beam wiring, which goes in the left hand side or the right hand side depending on which way you look at it, and this is the indicator wiring. So when I cut that little bracket off the stock bracket to mount this new speedo, I actually cut off the horn bracket, which needed to be done as I wouldn't have been able to bend it on a right angle. But what I've had to do is just make another right angle bracket, which is going to bolt to that hole there, and then the horn is going to mount on the front of it. I've got the horn mounted, the indicator panel with the new speedo. All I've got to do is tidy up this wiring. Next thing to do is to install the speed sensor pickup. So the way this works is you have a bolt with a magnet on it. I mean, to take this magnet off, as it just protects the magnet already in the bolt. You remove one of the bolts which secures your rotor in place, and then you bolt this to your caliper, and when it spins around, the magnet goes past the sensor and then it reads your speed. And install it. Now I just have to mark on the caliper where the magnet passes. Okay, so now to take the caliper off and drill some holes to mount this. So I'm going to mount the speed sensor just here. So what I need to do is cut out that part there so it slots in nice and square. I've trimmed that piece out. I'm able to mount it. So I'll put a hole there. Alrighty, so I've drilled a hole in the caliper. So now I'm going to remove this little guard here so I can run this wiring alongside the brake line and then up to the speedo. I'm going to install these new radiator hoses and this heat sensor which goes in between the hose. Now I've got the heat sensor mounted in between the two radiator hoses. Time to fix it to the radiator. Now to plug the wiring in for the heat sensor. And now what I'll do is connect the power wire and also the wire which runs to the coil, which reads your RPM. To install the power wire, you just have to disconnect this black clip here. The wiring which I'm going to depin is the green one, which hooks up to the red power, and the black one, which obviously goes to the black wire. Now to plug the power wire into the speedo. This is the only wire left to hook up, and that's for the tach ignition sensor, and that will read RPMs on your speedo. What I've got to do is just disconnect the wire at the bottom of the coil and then just wire this into the coil. Or alternatively, what you can do is just wrap this red wire around your spark plug lead. Now that I've got the wiring nice and tidy, let's whack the headlight back on, the tank and the seats, and we'll be done. So the Trailtech speedometer has all different types of settings. You can change kilometers per hour to miles per hour, degrees Celsius to Fahrenheit, and you can also change the clock to 24-hour or 12-hour time. You can also set a warning for the heat of your coolant, and the speedo also has trip meters which you can set, and that's a plus. Alright guys, so that was the Vapor Trailtech speedo installed on my 99 WR400F, and I gotta say I couldn't be happier. Now I can see the temperature on the speedo, and I can also see the RPMs, and I can set trip meters and see the time. There are so many different features on this speedo which the stock one obviously doesn't have. So another bonus with having a working speedo on my bike is I can go and get this thing registered. It has been far too long since I've ripped around on this. Anyway, that's going to do it for this one. Thanks very much for watching, and as always, I'll catch you on the next one. See ya.